Hello and happy Monday, everyone. It is the 1st of September. I cannot believe that. And Kathleen, safe travels to you and anyone else that's headed to Vegas. Make sure you have a great time and bring back some pointers for us, all right? Typically, we do some sort of debrief. I don't have it on the calendar yet. Hey, Kayla, how are ya? Anyway, listen, we are... didn't expect to see your name in the chat there, Kayla. Oh, I know what it is. Listen, I forgot to send you the link, didn't I? Here, I just sent you the link. You should have been invited. I knew I was forgetting something this morning. So you guys, I usually send the studio link to Kayla first thing in the morning before I get started. And it's a holiday, and I think I just forgot. There she comes. There we go. Hello. Look, she's in her new office.
Yeah.
I love it. Happy Monday to you. It looks so great.
Happy Monday. Thank you. Yeah, it's not even like decorated yet, but I'm just happy to be here. And I've got the door open and I can hear the crickets. Guys, I live like in the country a little bit. And the office that I've been in had no windows or anything to the outside world. And so I've just very tickled. Plus, it's in my backyard, like very close.
I know, right? Super easy commute, right? I love it. Well, I apologize for forgetting to send the studio link. That was
That's okay. We figured it out.
Right?
Your face was great.
I know. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is she over there? Anyway, That was great. So happy Monday, everyone. I hope everybody had a great weekend or is having a great weekend because it's a long holiday weekend. So super happy to have you here on a holiday morning, y'all. It's good to see you. Let's see. What are we talking about today? Today we're talking about intentionality.
Yeah. So today's quote comes from an unknown author, which I was a little bummed about because I finally started looking up the authors. So nothing to report there. But the quote is, "It's not about having time. It's about making time."
Ooh. I don't know. Can I tell you it sits a little bit weird with me?
Yeah, I don't love it either, but I don't change it. I just argue it.
Right. Well, it's interesting because I get the principle of what it's trying to say, right? We don't, what, say it again? What was it? We don't.
See, this is why we need to have it on the screen.
I know. It's not about having time. It's about
making time. So I'll
share my 2 cents. Yeah, share your take first.
Okay, so a couple concepts on time. First of all, time is an illusion. It's a human construct. It doesn't exist.
Yes.
And if we are gonna talk about time in 24 hours in a day and it does exist, it's the same, like thinking in that logic, it's the same amount of time for everybody, and you cannot make more time.
That's right.
In fact, of all of the resources that we pull from in our entrepreneurship journey or just life in general, time is the only resource which you cannot acquire more of in some way. So, but I have a similar quote that I heard recently, and now I don't even remember who it was from, so I can't even give them the credit.
That's okay.
But I recently heard somebody say, it might have been Alex Hormozy because I've been like diving deep on his stuff lately.
Yes.
But regardless, the quote is, "Stop trying to manage your time and start managing your focus."
Ooh, I love that. And it probably was Hormozy because I too, thanks to you, I have been diving deep into him as well. So it probably was. That sounds like something he would say, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that to me speaks a lot more because it like when you get real about it, it's not about time. Like we all have the same 24 hours in a day, or time doesn't exist. Like however you want
to look at it, right?
But regardless, like we're all managing time And even when you're managing your time and, time blocking on your calendar, when you arrive at that time block, if you're not managing your focus, then nothing else matters. Like how the time gets
Right.
spent is a byproduct
Yes.
of your ability to focus.
Right.
And so
Right.
I just feel like that way more clearly encapsulates and it's a lot more practical, tactical than manage your time.
Right.
Like, what does that even mean,
Right. It's kind of like, so one of the things I wrote in my notes here is time's a choice, not a circumstance. And it kind of aligns with what you're saying. I wrote down here that, we often talk about, I don't have time, but the truth is time isn't something that we have. It's actually something we allocate and so I think I agree with, so I kind of fall in this camp of time doesn't really exist.
Okay.
Just to kind of put that out there, because I've learned a long time ago that time changes and warps based on a whole lot of things. And
ooh, I just started getting into that too.
Yeah. And so it really is this man-made, like you said, man-made construct that we use to kind of do things. But the truth is and if you've ever gotten up, so for me, I get up early in the morning, and I'm going to tell you something. It expands time for me. When I don't get up early in the morning, my days are incredibly short. I feel like I'm behind the ball. I don't have time. But where I'm going with this is that's me. That's just the way it works for me. That doesn't make it true for everyone. And this is why I feel so weird about the word time and what we're looking at with that, because I think it's my mindset that actually
100%. Yeah. So it's what you're touching on is, I think, a concept about time that I don't fully understand yet. So I'm definitely going to butcher it in trying to present it, but I want to introduce the topic to everybody. So the concept of 24 hours in a day and 60 minutes in an hour, that is called Newtonian time. And I'm going to assume everybody at this point is familiar with how that works. But there's a different concept, and I don't remember what it's entitled. This is where I said I'm not super familiar with it. But I heard about it in the book 10x is Easier Than 2x by Dan Sullivan. And he talks about when you are operating in your highest gifts, like you actually, and you are like so intently focused, you have this ability to almost like slow down time. Yes. And when you're really like in that flow state, like you can get through and accomplish so much in what is on the clock on the wall, a small amount of time. And when you do this every day, people on the outside look at you and are like, you move so fast. Like, how do you do all of this? Right, exactly. And it's a byproduct of identifying what your gifts are, and as much as possible, only doing those things and offloading the other things to somebody else. If I could expand on that a little bit more to give some context, I recently got an assistant. Hallelujah, people.
I know, right? Say that again. Say it again, Caleb.
Hallelujah. Got an assistant. And
game changer.
He's $20 an hour, so not minimum wage. But here's the thing, like, it takes so much off my plate of just, I'll be honest, it's the stuff that in my business, when it comes up on my agenda, I call it the bullshit.
Yes. We all have that.
Hate doing it so much.
Yes.
And but it's also the same stuff that, like, if I am running short on time on a day, it's the stuff that gets pushed off because it drags my energy instead of filling me up.
Right.
All of those are all really good
Yeah.
signs that that's something you should offload to somebody else. And it was, I mean, a leap, because I definitely made that commitment before the revenue numbers made sense. But I sat with myself one day, and actually after listening to that book, so like 10 out of 10, if you guys haven't read it yet,
It is a great book.
10x is easier than 2x. And he talks about, he's illustrating this concept through a story of a lady who she became a real estate agent. Like, she didn't know what to do with her life, but she knew she needed to do something more than working at the store as a cashier or something like that. And she made the move to get an assistant before she had the revenue to support that. And it did two things. Number one, it pushed her in a position to where she had to figure out how to get that revenue to come in. But number two, it took so many hours off, like gave her back so much time in her day that she could double down and focus on the revenue generating activities. And her revenue, I think, like 4x bringing on, so like way more than paid for the assistant.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? It's time. And the process is fresh. Like, I'm literally about to write the first paycheck to him. So like, I haven't seen that massive jump in the revenue yet, but it's coming. Just being able to offload, and I'm moving through my project list now. Guys, my podcast is coming out next week. Thanks in part to having somebody to help me with it. So just, yeah, managing your focus and your priorities, not your time.
I love it. I love it. So back to what we were saying about how that like moves you into this. For years, I have been hearing people say to me, how do you do all of that, Nicole? In fact, I still hear it. And it is exactly what you're talking about, Kayla. It is exactly this ability to get into, sometimes I've heard it called flow, right? This place where we are able to get, I've often, I'm telling you, since I was in probably 8th grade, and that's a long time ago, guys. I'm just going to tell you, that is a long time ago. But I can remember in the 8th grade having this feeling of, oh, when I do this, which is when I started my actual study patterns of like sitting at a desk and being in the right environment and doing the things that, put me in a state of flow, I can get so much done in little bits of time. Literally, we did the Video Vault. So Video Vault members, your first resource dropped at midnight. We have member exclusive content that drops the first of every month inside the Video Vault. And it's just a short video with all of the implementation tools that go with it. Look, this is no joke. Last week, I did it in 3 hours from start to finish, everything about it. I recorded the video, got all of the tools ready, got everything put in there. It took me 3 hours. What? Well, because it's in my flow. That's in my like place of, I love that work. I would not do, I'll tell you what, you guys, I would do that 40 hours a week and just crank stuff out to support you in your practice for 40 hours every single week because I love it so much. So finding those things that put you in your flow and help you focus on the task, like not on the time. I think that's where it's really important to say, we're not talking about focusing on the time. We're talking about focusing on the activity that you're doing so that you do it well and you hone in on that thing and get it done. I don't know. Has anybody, I'm sure Kayla, you know what I'm talking about. Like literally when you're in that space, you can like, it's crazy what you can get done. Yeah, in the zone. It's crazy the amount of stuff you can knock out and get done. Whereas, like, if you're stuck in the bullshit or whatever that is, I'm going to say that's different for each of us. Those tasks are different for each of us, right? Because I have some too that I'm just like, I don't want to do that. I just, when you're stuck in that, man, I swear I can't get anything done. It feels like
Mhm.
I'm stuck in the mud,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, I love this idea of we're talking about time. And I also love the fact that we're like, I'm kind of like, about time for that whole idea of, I don't really think it exists. I think that it's all a mindset and how we show up, because I don't know, some days go by really fast, and some days, like, I feel like they're dragging on forever, and it's the same 24 hours. So how do
Yeah.
you explain that? Like, what is that other than, our mindset and our perception, I guess? I don't know. I don't know what that is. So let's see. What else do I have on the notes about that? Time's a choice, which I love. I love, 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 love. And I also put a little bit about boundaries here. And because I feel like boundaries and time kind of go hand in hand, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, people are always like, I don't know about you, but for me, there are there are no shortage of opportunities of things that I could fill my day with.
Right.
And so you
Yes.
have to get comfortable with saying no to things. And like in the beginning, that's easy. Not well, maybe I don't know if it's ever easy,
I know.
but for me in the beginning of my business, it was saying no to the obvious things like, you know, going out when I know I gotta get stuff like that kind, like
Right.
social stuff. But now it's even become like having to figure out what like business opportunities to say no to,
Yeah.
because at
Ooh.
some point, like, and now this one I know comes from Alex Hermosi because I was listening to it yesterday, but he talks about one of the biggest mistakes that he sees entrepreneurs make is, when you decide to start your own business, you really get rewarded for taking a drastic change from what you were doing, the stable job, and jumping off the deep end and starting your own thing. And like then that starts to work, and so it's a big reward for breaking the mold and jumping off and doing something else. However, the discipline comes in where that's the only time that you'll be rewarded for making such a huge leap. Because if you keep doing that in the lens of your business, you're just going to stagnate your growth because you're constantly getting pulled in too many directions. And
Oh,
yeah, and people who start their own business are really bad about falling in that trap because it worked before. And
right.
we also tend to be people who, like, if you can start a business, especially one like this that is
Yeah.
like unknown, people don't
Right.
understand it. Like if
Yeah.
you can start this and make this work, like you definitely get the sense of, well, I could do anything. And it's like,
Right.
well, you could, but do you
Yeah.
want to keep starting from scratch,
From
or would it
scratch.
make more sense to keep building the thing that you've already started building?
Right.
Like, do you want to make 6 tiny sandcastles or one great big one?
Oh, I love that. Right. Yes. Yeah. It's amazing. So yes, the whole idea of yes and no. We were just talking about this. I think it was in the Tuesday strategic planning crew. We were talking about, remember when you say yes, you're saying no to something else.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
I think that in regards to time and boundaries and making sure, it all goes back to like our big why. What is our why? And making sure that every yes that we say aligns with that. And that's kind of, at least for me, I have found that when I do that, it keeps me, I'm not going to say in the flow or in the zone, but close to the
Yeah.
zone, right?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
easier. I don't
you're
drift too
keeping those
far away.
guardrails up.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that you're not ending up in the
Yeah.
gutter.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's man,
And
that's the
it gets
thing. Yeah.
harder and harder to discern. Like that's one thing that I have noticed, like as my business has grown and my like awareness in the community has grown, I'm getting I'm finding more and more opportunities of things that I could do to grow that, expand that presence.
Right.
But like this was coming up, and I can't even remember what it was, but somebody asked me to go do something, and they're like, it's a great opportunity for your business, and I was like, thank you, still
Maybe.
no.
Right.
Because like though it, like, sure, it was a great opportunity and it could get me in front of a lot of people, it also wasn't a situation where there was a high likelihood of like a great ROI for me on that
Right.
time and energy investment. And I had to explain to that very well-intentioned person
Yeah.
that you know, I have a lot of demands on my time and I have to be very choosy about where I put it. And thankfully they respected that, but they did look at me like I had grown two heads when I turned down like a
Yeah.
visibility opportunity.
Right.
And so it's important that, you know, in the beginning, I think you got to take all of advantage of all of that as
Right.
much as you can. But then when you start to get to this point where you're like, okay, I'm juggling a lot of balls, you've got to figure out, like, can they throw another one at you, or is it more important to keep juggling? Like if it's a really good ball, then maybe you should drop one of the ones that's in the air and pull that one in.
Totally.
But it's like you have to start shifting to
Shifting.
looking at like, what is, just because it's an opportunity doesn't mean that it comes without a cost. And what
Everything
is
comes
that
with a cost.
cost for you? Right.
Yes. Everything comes with a cost. I think that's a huge thing to talk about, right? Everything costs something, and it is super important. We've just it was in last week's strategic planning crew meeting. We did the matrix decision. You know, it's important and urgent. It's all of the things, like how to discern all of these things. Of all the things on your calendar, how do you break them down and prioritize and identify the ones that are actually going to move you forward with the least amount of investment? So literally everything in business is a return on investment, whether
Mm-hmm.
and that doesn't mean just money, y'all. It
Right.
means energy and time and effort and all of those things, because that's what we have to invest in order to get back out. And so we need to be making sure that we're leveraging and we're spending our time, our energy, and our effort in the places where we're going to get the biggest return, right? And like Kayla said, great opportunities don't always produce the biggest returns. And so we have to be discerning. Anyway, I love that. And I love the idea of prioritizing and making sure that we're staying in our zone and leveraging as much of our time, because again, we talk about this all the time. Time is finite. Like it is this. We only get so much of it, right? And so we have to be aware of how we're allocating and how we're using our focus within those allocations of time. Again, pretty interesting stuff, right? The only other note that I did have here was that intentional time. When we're intentional with our time, it creates sustainable success. Meaning, when we deliberately focus and allocate time for the right things. And I personally, I think the right things are things like self-care, like exercise, nutrition, sleep, like all of those things.
Yep.
I don't, we don't fall into the hustle category. We just don't think that, at least here, we don't believe that that's sustainable. But the right things, self-care, business building, client focus, those are long-term sustainable activities, right? Those are things that we don't want to do more. We want to do what matters most consistently, right? So we want to consistently do the most important things, which is take care of ourselves, take care of our bodies, take care of our clients, build our business, serve more people. So that's something that I wanted to talk about, is that really is learning how to allocate time, or whatever you want, stay in your zone, however you look at time. Like I don't know. Like I said, I don't really think it exists. So it's all about the focus for me. But however you want to look at it, make sure that that's the time. This really is a building block for a sustainable practice. That's where I'm going with that. Like,
yeah, I
being
mean, the
intentional.
time management is important. It's just not the most important thing. Like,
Yes.
I see like focus and directed focus is the priority, and managing our time and time blocking and planning things out, like all of that is how we create the
Yes.
system and framework that the focus can then live inside. Because if you're just focusing on focusing your focus,
oh boy, right? Well, and there it is, right? There it is. It's going to be
they
a
go
mess.
hand in hand is what I'm getting at. Like, if all we were to talk about is, oh, well, just focus, it's like, okay, cool, but when and what, like that gets very like loosey goosey, I feel like.
Yes.
But most of the time, what you hear, and even all I had heard until like recently, was about time management and the importance of managing your time and the benefits of, it's always talking about time management. And it wasn't until recently when I heard somebody say, like, stop trying to manage your time and start managing your focus. I was like, oh, that's the missing piece. Like, that it's managing the focus within the time framework systems. Like, that's where the fire is.
Yes, that's where the magic is, really, right? Like,
yeah,
that is where it is.
And it's very personal. So
yes.
my ask for you this week is to start identifying, what are the things for you that are kind of, like requirements to be able to be in that zone of focus. For me, it's like, I'm very influenced by my environment. So I need to be somewhere where I'm not going to be interrupted. And like, I'm such a diva, like the lighting has to be right. Like,
girl, sing it.
I know, like I have to have soft music on, but music with no words, because if I sit in dead silence, my mind wanders and then I'll be like, oh, it's been 15 minutes. What in the world even happened? But if there's words, then I focus on that. So like, it took me time to figure out that, like, this is what works for me.
It does.
So I encourage you, and that's not what works for everybody. Like Alex Ramosi was talking about his office. He literally, like, it's an interior room. There is no outside light. There is no outside sound. And I know, right? He works in dead silence. And I'm like, that would never work for me. So
I love it. I love that we're talking about this and giving everybody permission to explore and figure out what works, because Kayla, you are so, so right. I am also a natural light person. I need natural light, not just for work, but for me personally. Anyway, but I work in silence because I used to be able to work with music, but I don't think so. Right. But so I do need silence. But I need, and you know what else I've learned? I got a standing desk last year or the year before. I can't remember. That is a new requirement for me. I almost cannot work sitting down anymore. I was working earlier this morning or yesterday, and I was sitting at the desk and I was struggling, and I was like, you know what? Let me stand up and see if that makes a difference. Boom. Made a difference. So it's very, very personal, and we are sharing what we have found that works for us, and at the same time trying to really instill in you that there is no right or wrong way. It's whatever works for you, and it's going to be different, right? Alex likes to work in a closet. Great. Perfect. Whatever does the magic for you. But the challenge this week, and I'm with Kayla, the challenge this week is start noticing what those things are. Right.
Yeah, and don't, and like, just notice it and leave it at that. Like, notice it and make it the requirement. Like, you don't have to explain yourself. Like, that's just the way your brain operates, and that's okay. Like, we don't need to judge it. It's not good or bad. It is what it is. And then set up your operating environment to reflect that
That's
to
right.
the best of your abilities.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And honor it. I think more than anything else, I become aware of it and then honor it. Like give it space. Like it is the thing that makes you you.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, these are the things that make you you, that make you unique from everyone else. And when we do the things that put us into our zone and into our flow, and we're able to maximize the output of our efforts, y'all, it is a game changer in all aspects, in our life, in personal life, business life, everything. When you learn these things about yourself and you start honoring them and putting them into place, you're going to be amazed at the difference it makes in your life, not just your business, but across the board. And Kayla's nodding, so I'm guessing that's been your experience too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right. So I think we're out of time. This has been amazing. I'm so glad that y'all showed up on a holiday weekend. And like I said, if you're traveling, be safe. Be safe. I know the conference starts tomorrow. So have a wonderful week. We will see you on Wednesday and same time, same place next Monday, right here. Mindset Monday, kickstart your week with positivity and inspiration. Have a great one, guys. Talk to you later.